Now to a story that is all over social media, making headlines. An Indiana mother of two is dead after family members say she drank 4 bottles of water within 20 minutes. This happened over the 4th of July holiday weekend. 35-year-old Ashley Summers' family says she died from toxicity. It has many of us wondering, is there such a thing as too much water at a given time? The VP of Medical Affairs at St. Joseph's in Warren, Dr. Jill Stefanucci-Uberti, joins us now to explain and also offer some tips on how to safely hydrate ourselves. Thank you so much for taking the time, Doctor.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, you know, the 4 bottles of water, it is equal to about 64 ounces, and the family says she drank that within 20 minutes. How dangerous is it to drink too much water at once?
So if you're drinking it too quickly in that short of a time frame, certainly it can be dangerous. But the amount of water that she drank, if that had been spread out over the day, would not have been dangerous. So your body, especially your kidneys, can only remove about 1 liter of water per hour. So if she had that much all at one time, she would have overburdened the kidneys and they would not have been able to keep up.
Oh, that is just so heartbreaking. So how can you space this out safely? You say 1 liter an hour. What would be your rule of thumb for the day and how really someone should look at planning their water intake?
So what I would strongly suggest is that this is something you could talk about with your own healthcare provider. Everybody has slightly different needs depending on their age, their exercise level, how healthy they are, whether or not they have any kidney or heart issues, and how you're consuming that amount of water spaced out throughout the day. So that would be my first recommendation. But for your average individual, that whole mantra that we had, 8 ounces, 8 glasses a day, you know, that's pretty safe as far as being spread out throughout the day for you.
Yeah, a lot of diets, they're pushing for drink more water. This will help you. What's too much in an entire day? If you hear a certain amount, does it trigger, oh, that's actually not maybe safe?
So what I tell people is look for the way you're feeling more than the total amount. If you're feeling if you're not thirsty, certainly don't force yourself to drink. If when you're going to the restroom, if your urine is very clear, then you've probably been overdoing it and you need to back down a little bit. Certainly, if you're not feeling well after having consumed more than a glass or 2 of water, you probably ought to take a break from water and recognize that maybe with your next beverage, you need to have some electrolytes with it. So that's the key, and that's the problem that this woman likely had, is that the beverages that she was consuming were all water and they had no electrolytes, and that's the culprit behind the water toxicity.
Right now we have student athletes, doctor, that are practicing for their fall sports, meaning they need to stay hydrated, especially in the hot temperatures ahead. And a lot of times,
yes,
you know, you remember taking those big water bottles, those cooler size ones with ice, so that you had cold water with you. I guess, what are some helpful tips to safely hydrate while you're active outside for the student athletes? What's your recommendation for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are one of our at-risk populations right there. So my recommendation is that you have you have a water bottle followed by a beverage that has some electrolyte replacements. And any of your sports drinks typically do have some sodium, potassium, and other necessary electrolytes in them. So I like that 1-for-1 back and forth when you're trying to hydrate during sports.
Okay. And do you recommend maybe taking sips before and after a run? What's a good way to make sure you don't overconsume?
Well, certainly when you're running, unless you're running a marathon, you're probably unlikely to consume too much during your run. But having an 8-ounce glass before and an 8-ounce glass after would be perfectly appropriate. But if it's on these hot summer days and you're doing a lot of sweating, you're also losing electrolytes that way. It would be wise to, again, follow up with a beverage that has electrolytes in it.
I really appreciate your time today.